Hey guys, Ryan said, Lake St. Clair Fishing Guide. So last week I posted a video on drop shot fishing up here on the Great Lakes. And this week what I wanted to do is do a deep dive into drop shot hook selection. I've got a selection of my hooks laid out off to the side here that we'll talk about. I'm going to shoot this in two videos. The first video we're going to talk about just choosing a hook, like what kind of criteria do we think about. The second video we'll look at the actual different hooks that I've been using. My clients probably catch 60 to 70% of their fish each year on a drop shot, so it's very important for me to have that dialed in. I've spent the last 4 or 5 years, probably more, kind of playing around with different drop shot hooks on the market. What we're eventually going to talk about is not an exhaustive list. There's lots more out there that I have tried and lots that I haven't tried. So I'm always looking for your feedback in the comments. If you've got something that's working really well for you, I'd love to hear about that. If you got questions, love to hear about those as well. So comments, direct message. I love talking fishing. So that's what makes our sport so cool, is that there's never, even though I'm going to show you a selection of hooks in the second video, there's no end game here, right? We're always learning, we're always thinking, market's always improving with new products. So that's what makes our sport so cool. As far as drop shot hooks go, there's really three criteria that I look at when choosing a drop shot hook. The first one is going to be the wire diameter. The wire diameter is very important to me because the big smallmouth up here, the 4.5 to 5 pound fish, they have a very, very strong mouth. If you catch a big largemouth, you'll probably notice they have a very fleshy mouth. There's lots of places for the hook to go. Not the case with a big smallmouth. A big smallmouth, it is meat and it is bone, and you really need a lighter wire diameter to penetrate that better. Really, any application that I fish for big smallmouth, not just drop shot, I'm looking for as light a wire diameter as I can. I compensate by having a softer rod, but if you have that braid that I talked about in the video last week, you're still going to get a good hook set. So especially with a drop shot, I like to go with a lighter wire diameter. Very important to me. The second thing is going to be the barb, and I'm paying attention to the barb. I don't really have any measurements per se of what a barb needs to be, but I'm paying attention to it so that I can make adjustments if I need to. Now, if I just lose one fish, that's fishing, that's going to happen. But if I lose 2, 3 fish in a short period of time, I'm going to look to make some adjustments, and one of the things I might do is go up in a barb size, or in some cases possibly down in a barb size. So I'm really paying attention to that barb on the hook each time. And then the last thing is the finish on the hook. That's something that's really just kind of new in the last 2 years or so. Prior to that, all hooks were basically black nickel or bronze if you want to go way back. But some of the newer finishes on them that we'll talk about in the next video offer a few advantages that I really appreciate in the hooks. You might ask, well, what about sharpness of the hook? Doesn't that matter? Well, of course sharpness of the hook matters, but I feel like I can control that. Most hooks that you're going to buy these days off the shelf are incredibly sharp. And if we're out on the water and we notice that they're a little bit dull or something, we can always touch them up. I keep a file very handy in my boat, so I'm always touching up my hooks as needed. So I feel like I can control the sharpness, whereas the wire diameter, the barb, and the finish on the hook is something that I'm kind of at the mercy of the hook manufacturers. So those are my three criteria, how I think about drop shot hooks. In the next video, we'll talk about the different hooks that I choose that are kind of in my arsenal these days. I'll see you on that video.